This video dives into the Browns' controversial decision to name Deshaun Watson their starting quarterback, despite his struggles and recent criticism. We'll examine why Cleveland chose Watson over Shedeur Sanders after the rookie appeared to outperform him in the preseason. The panel also breaks down Watson's tense relationship with Browns fans and his controversial comments after being booed.
I am shocked. I feel awful for the fans of the Cleveland Browns. I have no idea how you could witness what you witnessed in that press conference and it not be a part of your evaluation and decision. I think the world of Todd Monken. I think he's a great coach. I think the world of Andrew Berry. I think he's put together really good football teams. I have no idea how they can make this decision. I said if this was strictly a football decision, strictly football, 50-50, start the guy you want, I'd be fine with it. Last week I thought in preseason week 1, Deshaun played better than Shedeur. Week 2, it wasn't even close. Shedeur was markedly better than Deshaun. The performance this past Saturday by Deshaun was not good. It was candidly very poor. To have him have that interaction and make the comments that he made in a town, and Kimberly, you could speak to it better than I can, but like in a town, in a city, in a football fan base and franchise like Cleveland, and to sit there and be like, don't boo me, and it's more than just performance, the tone-deaf element of that, and then to name him the starting quarterback less than 48 hours out of it, I truly feel awful for that fan base, because you can tell the fan base really likes Shedeur and wants Shedeur, and whatever reason why, I don't care. They don't with Deshaun. I'm shocked. I thought there was no way that they would name him the starting quarterback.
All right, really quick, Kevin, before you go here, let's hear that sound that we keep referring to from Deshaun Watson. This came after the preseason game over the weekend. He was booed heavily when he took the field. Now, he didn't play well, but nonetheless, this was his reaction to the boos that he heard during the game. Here's Deshaun Watson.
I think the whole world knows it has nothing to do about the performance. It's a little bit personal than that. So I think that's it's a disrespectful thing. Last time I played on this field, I tore my Achilles. And that same fan base, they cheered when I got hurt. So does that have to do with, what does that have to do with anything about performance? When a person get hurt, especially for your own city, and they cheer, it's a mental battle every day. You know, I feel like I get more love on road games than I do home games. So if it is my spot and he does make me the name, maybe it's 17 away games then. I don't know.
Does any of that make you regret coming here?
No, I don't regret anything in my life.
All right. There's a lot to unpack there, a lot of words that were said. One thing that I want to just point out before I get to you, now he is named the starting quarterback, and he said he performs better in away games, the first 2 games for the Cleveland Browns this year.
3 of their first 5 are away.
Are on the road. The first 2 against Jacksonville, in Jacksonville, and then against the Bucs in Tampa Bay. Go ahead, Kevin, your reaction to this news that he's the starting quarterback.
Pathetic. I think pathetic is an all-encompassing phrase that I would use for all of this stuff. And Deshaun Watson's wrong about one thing. He's wrong about a lot of things, but he's wrong about one thing in this clip. It's not personal. It's business. It's performance-based. They boo him because he's an avatar for the worst trade in NFL history, the worst contract in NFL history, the fact that Cleveland fans have seen a lot of bad quarterback play, and even in that context, he's among the worst. He is among the worst. For a starting job, I would have gone Shedeur first, trade second, somebody like Todd Monken's former quarterback, Stetson Bennett, maybe somebody like that. Third would be Dylan Gabriel. Fourth would be Dan Orlovsky. Fifth would be Bernie Kosar. Sixth would be Deshaun Watson. Okay, maybe you and Bernie could do a little quarterback competition. I'd rather have that than Deshaun Watson starting just for the Cleveland fans. Cleveland fans, as you said, Dan, deserve better. I don't understand how you can face the fan base. And maybe this is a locker room thing. Maybe there were veterans on the team who said we need to start Deshaun to give us a special chance to win. Fine, whatever. But I don't know how you can face the fan base and say this is the quarterback you deserve.
Okay, I think because as somebody who is always sent there, I have a different perspective. Maybe because I think it's not what I would do, right? But when you say, how could they not listen to the fan base? Deshaun Watson's on the team. Clearly, they were not listening to the fan base when they decided in the midst of the whole situation with him to give up 3 first-round picks and give him $230 million guaranteed. So when you bring up the fans, they've already showed you that they're going to plow ahead with whatever they think will be the best football decision. Now, in their minds, Deshaun gives them the best chance. In their minds. Is that what I would do? No. I would want to know exactly what I have in Shedeur Sanders. Because at the end of this year, I want to know, because Deshaun is getting off the books. I want to know if next offseason, I will go out and get a rookie quarterback, right? So I need to know what I have in Shedeur. But clearly, based on what they have seen throughout the offseason on the field in practice, Dan mentioned the previous preseason game, Deshaun played better than Shedeur. Yesterday, or Saturday, whichever day it was, Shedeur clearly outplayed Deshaun. But they're looking at the total body of work. At least that is what they are saying internally, and their actions tell you that they don't allow fans to dictate football decisions, or else he wouldn't be on the roster.
We've never had a situation where, as Dan said, it's a coin flip, and the quarterback hates the fan base publicly. And then you say, okay, he's still our quarterback.
Now, Todd Monken did point out, after all these words were said over the weekend, that press conference would have no bearing on who he was going to name the starting quarterback.
I'm being dead serious. I'm being dead serious when I say this. Browns fans should not go to games.
I agree with that.
Why would I go to this game?
This is the tipping point, Dan?
Yes. At some point, there has to be a tipping point, though, Shay. At some point, there has to be. And maybe I'm being solo in this, but to watch that press conference and to hear him say, I get more love in road games, what would you expect the love to come from? You went there. Now, the organization chose to give you all the money.
Right.
Sure. But you've played in 19 games. 19 games. And then you have the performance, and you're standing there in the press conference with this attitude of entitlement in a way of, well, you guys should continue to support me. And it's like, as a fan going,
the Browns naming Deshaun Watson the starting quarterback is understandable from one perspective, but it is extremely difficult to defend based on what has happened recently. Cleveland is clearly valuing Watson's experience and what he has shown throughout training camp, but his actual game performances have created serious doubts. Choosing him over Shedeur Sanders puts enormous pressure on him. Watson to prove the organization right immediately. The biggest problem is the disconnect between Watson and the Cleveland fan base. Fans have watched him play only 19 games during his Cleveland tenure while dealing with injuries and inconsistent performances, so the frustration is understandable. His comments about receiving more support on the road only made the situation worse because it sounded like he was blaming the fans instead of recognizing why. Their patience has disappeared. At the same time, I understand why the Browns may have made this decision. If the coaching staff genuinely believes Watson performed better throughout the entire offseason, they have to make the football decision they believe gives them the best chance to win. However, Shedeur becomes an extremely important piece because Cleveland needs to know what it has in him before entering another offseason with major questions at quarterback. The preseason performances make the decision even more interesting. If Watson had clearly dominated Shedeur, there would be far less controversy, but the transcript suggests that Shedeur was significantly better in the most recent game. That creates a situation where every mistake Watson makes will immediately bring questions about why the rookie isn't playing. The pressure could become overwhelming very quickly.